season has been brought to you by Radisson Red, Johannesburg, Rosebank. Style you can bank on. Great day, everyone. Ed Dudley coming out of Durham, North Carolina in the United States. And I'm always honored to spend this time with the amazingly beautiful, talented, and always full of surprises when we're on this show, Miss Charmaine Supermoney. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, Zulu Ed. It's always a pleasure being in your company. I look forward to our amazing
Yeah.
conversations with incredible humans.
It's been quite a journey, and what I love about it is we've been able to interview people from across the globe, but in particular for me, connecting with individuals on the continent of Africa. It's been very special for me to connect with individuals on the continent of Africa. So I know our guest is going to be absolutely phenomenal today, coming from the continent. Charmaine, won't you do the honors today in introducing our guest?
I think we should just bring him in.
Let's bring him in then.
My good friend,
Your friend
Prince
boy.
Sonwabile. Oh, he's my friend boy. Incredible designer, comes from a royal family, amazing president of SAFTA. He does so many amazing things representing our country. Just a good human being. So maybe we could welcome to the Ubuntu house.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. And maybe you can just tell our listeners as to who you truly are, starting with your early days.
My goodness me. This is a young man from the Eastern Cape, which is part of South Africa, which is which is then used to be known as the Transkei. The name is Sonwabile Ndamase. I come from the royal family, which is known as Prince Sonwabile Ndamase, but I reside in Johannesburg for the sake of greener pastures. So I have been here. I know that there are too many velds and cows and so forth, but in this part of the world, this is where I mine the gold. And it is also the place, Zululand, that led me into who I am now today, that is the creative and the innovative and the guru of the fashion industry. So I came into Johannesburg in the 80s, and since then I have been in Johannesburg and working here, and also actually finding a greener pasture for all other things related to fashion, because now I do mentorship for the young and upcoming designers, and I do as well learnership. I am an accredited, my institution is accredited by the FP and AMSITA, which is Fiber Processing and Manufacturing SITA. I give that kind of a plowback into whatever that I am doing, especially in this particular platform that I hold so dearly for and respect.
He is truly the guru of the fashion industry.
I'm just going to call you Prince Guru. I like that.
Prince Guru?
You are welcome. Any name does, if ever then it triggers your fancy, I'm in it.
I love you. So you do incredible work, right? On multiple levels. I would love for us to just unpack what inspired fashion designing for you, like what inspired that journey, because it's not a journey that men generally follow, especially in that era.
I always believe into what we say mostly that each and every human being, there is that one thing that pushed you to get into the river and learn how to swim.
Absolutely.
And for me, what then pushed me into the river and made me to know how to swim, it was the situation of my parent, especially my mom. I come out from a very big family, and therefore within that I had to create. My mom used to be sewing and doing all sort of work, um, for dressmaking, so to speak. But then I never took that as a career because I used to assist and help him. I'm a helper. But neither to say that from that, as you are saying, from my early stage, it wasn't an easy thing that a male could get involved in, especially in our culture, and especially
Mm-hmm.
that comes from a princehood where I come from, to measure women and males, and my grandfather, who is late, which is the king, um, Ndamase, he used to tease my father and say, "What is this young boy doing with our wives? Keeping on wrapping our wives with a piece of cloth and a tape measure. What is he doing?" And also, you must understand, at my era at that time, getting involved into a creative space was taken as a sense of, kind of, people would think that it's either then you will change your sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And that on its own was a pressure that I have over my shoulder as I grow up, because you will always see me around with females and so forth. And then people started to call me, I'm a sissy, because they thought that I am so tendering in terms of
Mm.
how I do things. But neither to say I learn a lot anyway from women at that time, and which I'm still learning a lot, even to a woman just now by the name of Charmaine, who is now as part of our host here. So that has been the thing that has been driving me. But then, to cut the long story short, what then brought me into the fashion industry, it was not just only the fun and also the beauty of the industry. It was a sense of a business of fashion, one, and number two, to make it a point that I make a living out of it, as I also create a platform for our own aesthetics that were not being recognized in the mainstream, but used by other people as muse. They will come into our African continent, and meaning that Zulet will come and then see beautiful things in South Africa or in any part of Africa, and then he will take it into Europe or in America and reproduce that, and
Mm.
he will bring it back to any part of African country that he bought that thing from, and start saying made for a African continent. But in the meantime, that idea and that design is a South African or any other African continent. So that was a kind of trying to protect our industry and make it a point that it come in the form, even within the institutions of learning, because by the time I was in the institution of learning, I pick up that we were always told by the international, so-called international designers, as if we do not have our own craft. And
Sure.
then I was pushing the envelope from that particular spectrum. That's what made me then to be where I am, and I'm still in this particular field since the 1980s.
At what point did you realize, at what age did you realize that you had this God given talent to create fashion and designs?
It actually, where then I started to pick it up, it was when I was challenged by my family at the age of 12, because I had then to look at my mom, how she used to do things. And then I started to coach. She taught me how to coach. I found that I had a soft spot for coaching. I had a soft spot for tailoring and all those kind of things. That was at the age of 12.
Crouching at the age of 12 and tailoring, you are impressive. You know, I've always been in awe with you, but now I'm even more impressed. Um, the fact that you're not just, you know, a businessman, a fashion designer, but you can do other creative stuff. So that's incredible.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
yeah, I need to dive into, you know, I mean, you're famous for designing Tata Mandela shirts, right?
Indeed.
How did that come about? And just share the entire journey and the lessons and, you know, your standout moments. I'd love to know more.
For you, Zulet, I don't know
Oh,
whether you
I
know
love the
that.
way he called you. And for you, Zuluet, you better listen attentively. Give
I'm
it.
learning. I'm sitting here ready to learn. Come on.
I'm not quite sure whether you understand the word Tata. What does it mean?
He doesn't.
Now, when we say Tata Mandela, we mean father. When you have a fatherlyhood principles in you, and then you display that without forcefully challenged. Because there are those fathers that are actually they become fathers just because they are they have got beards and all other genitals that one can mention. But there are those fathers that at the end of the day, they don't emulate to become fathers. They just become fathers by virtue of looking after of all the things that suppose what God gave it to them. Because God, when He gave a man a standpoint of being a father, He gave him authority, but He never limited the womanhood, because He said, when they all sinned, He said to them, go ye then into the land and subdue the land. Now, Tata Mandela, when he was released from prison, without me getting to preach, he then said,
Preach. It's okay. Go ahead,
It's
preach.
okay. It's your time.
what's behind that dollar, my man?
I was about to
So,
grab my word. I was about to grab my word and open it up and see where you were going with it.
so then what then happened is this. When Tata was released, I had already been actually designing for Mama Winnie, which is the then wife of Tata. May they all their souls rest in peace.
Hmm.
I used to design for Mama Winnie, and then from that, Mama Winnie introduced me to Tata when he was released. And what a moment when I have to meet this man. I am telling you, I had butterflies because it was one of those moments that I never thought would ever come to this soul child of being myself. I used to sing together with the man then, if you know, the late Hugh Masekela,
Oh,
who
yeah.
used to say, yes, bring back Nelson Mandela, bring him back home. I want to see him walking down the street with Winnie Mandela. And that was exactly. the moment when I had to get into the house at the time, because I said, oh my gosh, am I one of the people seeing this now happening whilst I'm still alive? And I went into the house, and the man, as tall as he was, and then he said, oh, are you Ndamase? I know the Pondos, and I used to be one of them in the Transkei. What
Damn.
you do for me? And then I started to say, Tata, I don't know, you tell me. Because he then started then to give me the brief of what he would love to have. And they say that the rest is history. Then I started to make these kind of shirts that I did for him. And guess what? Mama, actually, which is Winnie Madikizela Mandela, she started to tease me and say, why are you making my husband, shirts with the cotton fabrics? You will know that anything that is floral, then it was used as a cotton. So when she uses these fabrics that I was keeping on giving her husband, was that like a cotton fabric. So that's how she used to tease me about the whole concept. As I'm saying that, I never even thought that but another thing that the community from all over the world that they should understand is that the making of this particular style and shirt was not just only a look and a modeling or a new look that he wanted to come up with. Also, there was a lot of health condition that was abound with that, because he wanted something that when he's wearing, it's going to be something that is going to be cool when he's wearing it. You will understand as well that by the time that he was in prison, he when he was released, it was already very late for his age.
Yeah.
So therefore, the alkaline and all the things that they were doing whilst they were still in the prison, especially in Robben Island. So they inhaled those stones, and it was damaging. It had also damaged his health for his lungs and so forth. So therefore, he needed something that when he's wearing, it will be something that he will be comfortable with, and he will not sweat inside. That's why you've never see him. After then he discovered the comfort on my shirts. He never worn a jacket on top of them since.
It was such a privilege, I mean, for you to be able to have that moment. I mean, I'm sure you dreamt it, right? One day you were going to meet him, and you had the dream probably of designing shirts for him, because I mean, fashion was your thing. And just to be invited to do this and just to meet his needs is so very special. And you actually spend too much time with him, because your voiceover is just like him. It felt like he was in on the screen when you were speaking to him. And like you, I had the privilege of meeting him, and it is butterflies. I cannot explain the experience. So two of us on the screen had the privilege of meeting one of the greatest in the world. So I know you'd. Oh, I can't see you. You disappeared. Oh, there we go,
Show
Mr.
us,
Show.
show us,
Oh,
show us.
checking you
Yes,
us. Love
he
it.
made Madiba shirt a cut above the rest.
He sure did. And he continues
Yeah.
to. Yeah. You were invited to travel with him. Speak a little bit about that.
Another phenomenal excitement that I received is that when the Queen, may her soul rest in peace as well, when the Queen actually was in South Africa,
We're talking about Queen
he,
Elizabeth,
I know.
Queen Elizabeth, yes, when Queen
Princess.
Elizabeth came into South Africa in the 90s, then Madiba had to reciprocate and visit the Queen in England. And then I found myself as one of his entourage to travel to London. And when I was in Britain, one of the exciting moments is when then I started to dine with who's who. Mabrul, Hazel, are you with me on this one? You know, it was one of those moments that you will call dying for. One moment, literally, I even said to myself, I picture myself when I was in the Dorchester Hotel, sitting with the Queen around, breathing the same air with the Queen, and also actually sitting with the Duke of Edinburgh, you know, around the table. I mean, what else that one would not want to die for? And then I said to myself, if this building could fall down now, my name also will be among the least of the people that were in this particular room. That's one of the things.
Can I tell you something? The
Yes,
fact
please.
that you were traveling with one of the greatest men that ever walked this earth is the highlight for me. The fact that you designed the shirt for Tata Mandela, or shirts for him, is the highlight for me. The fact that you come from Africa and taking our designs all over the world and doing incredible things is the highlight for me. So I'm glad you spent time with the Queen and the Duke, not the highlight for me. You know, I love you, right? So, no, clearly, sorry, Ed, it must have been an incredible, memorable moment to be able to travel with Tata and exchange views and ideas and take our messages out there. What was the most, you know, he's very good with his words, right? You know that, and so are you. What was the message that he landed with them whilst you were there, or the quotes that he may have dropped? Can you remember that?
One of the things that I love about Utata, without having to go to quite a number of quotes that I know of, is his practical being when he does things. You know, one of the teachings that I picked up from him is being humble. He is such a humble person. Now, I know with the fact that even the securities around him, they had a problem or a challenge in stopping him to touch people around. Tata had this thing of when he sees people, he doesn't go with the security measures. He will go and touch everybody as if he knew that those people that he touched them shall then remember and duplicate him and do things in understanding that, by the way, I touched this man's hands, let alone to do that, even to take pictures. He never had the something of saying if somebody wants to take a picture with him, he will say no, because he knew he is duplicating himself with these particular people, of which when he is no more, these people shall speak his language and do because they have touched him. The similar thing that he told me, he said to me, one of the things that Sonwabile, I would like you to do is that now that you have touched me, you have dressed me, I would like you as well to duplicate me by making a point that you uplift the young people in the industry so that you leave who I am through them. because you had an opportunity of breathing the same air with me, please make it a point that you never become bigger than the people that feeds you.
Oh, that is so powerful. And you are living that message that is actually art, but you're being humble. And so talk a little bit about SAFTA and the work that you actually do and how you give back there. There's so many things that we could talk about, but so yeah, just quickly for Ed and our viewers, and then we can go into the other aspects. Sorry, Ed.
You're good.
There's an organization that I'm running, which is called SAFTA, which is South African Fashion Designers Agency. It is an agency that help and assist the young and upcoming designers, where then through this particular agency, I'm in a position of coming up with the leadership, coming up with the skills, coming up with all marketing avenue, and also giving platform for those that, if then an institution of this particular caliber was not existing, they would not have an opportunity of seeing themselves being recognized in the mainstream. So we build up what we call their portfolios through what we are doing. We're assisting them to market their product. We're assisting them to expose them in the mainstream. And that's what SAFTA is all about. SAFTA has got also another element that we do, which is called the marketing element, which is then the Vukani range creation, which is the one that creates the legacy of the Madiba range, and also the legacy of the Winnie Mandela signature collection. And also, actually, I did not dress only Nelson Mandela. I also dressed Cyril Ramaphosa. I also dressed, President Zuma. I also dressed, most all presidents, actually, of South Africa. I have dressed them and I've dined with them, all of them mostly.
You have
So
lots of
that's exactly what I
influence.
do.
Lots of influence and impact, and the young people look up to you. Ed, you wouldn't know. I mean, my background, besides law and finance and things, is also I'm a fashion designer and stylist, which I've studied.
You told me.
Oh, did
You
I? Did I?
you
Okay.
dropped that on the episode that you were wearing a shirt that you designed.
Oh, okay. But no, I no comparison to the guru. So yeah, um, Prince, you recently showed in Paris Fashion Week. I mean, that's a designer's dream, right? Speak to us about that and how you represented our beautiful country.
Recently, actually, I was invited to showcase to Milan, first and foremost. And then from Milan doll, I have
I get
to
it, darling.
showcase to I had to showcase to Paris. Uh, what I did is that during the era of the our South African calendar, which is known as the Heritage and the Women's Month, one of the things that I decided to do, I just said, you know what's happening is that our women wants as well to dress in a Mandela spirit. Then I decided to come up with a collection that I call it kimonos.
Yeah.
And those kimonos, I created them using the fabric that I was utilizing for creating Nelson Mandela's shirts and all other presidents' shirts. And guess what happened? I took that collection, which I created, and then I say, let me then go and display who I am in Milan when I was invited to go and showcase. Then I showcased in Milan with ows and wows, and with their jaws were flowing,
Dropping.
dropping down.
I
And
know
that
it.
was me. And that was me. When I did that fashion show there, they absolutely, and also one of the things that I managed to do, I managed to leave them with Nelson Mandela's legacy, where I taught the young and upcoming models that were actually involved in my collection. I gave them a brief with my collection to show them what kind of a collection that I'm giving them to wear. That on its own was overwhelming to them because they said to me, we have never ever had a designer briefing and debriefing us when we have to showcase or when we have to get involved into their collection. That's another one. And they started wanting the collection to be left in Milan because they wanted every piece of that collection that they have worn. That's a bigger piece that I had. By the time I moved to Paris, it was another phenomenon, another opportunity, whereby when I showcased into Paris, I had quite a number of other designers as well that I was showcasing with. And at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, one of the fundamental things that was overexciting is that the organizers of the Paris Fashion Week wanted me to do the closing of the Paris Fashion Week because they said this is the man who is bringing Africa to the next level. And that was me and myself and I. And that's what happened.
You are phenomenal, and I have to say, I mean, your interaction with the models, I'm not surprised by, because your humility and the way you transfer knowledge is what you automatically do, and that's why they were so in awe and wanted you to leave some of their pieces with them. So yeah, Ed, you probably have a question or two.
I'm sitting here learning and just watching, and yeah, I'm in awe. Just to actually even meet you and and talk to you. But I absolutely love that shirt that you have on right there. Absolutely. What was your what's your inspiration for your designs? Where does your inspiration come from?
My inspiration, Zulad, is coming from who I am, where I coming from, not where I am going to. So every time and again I create something, even this particular shirt, the colors, the sky, and you name it, it's influenced by where I am coming from. How best can I be myself without me mimicking someone else? Because I always believe if you see me, you have seen me and no one else, because I'm not any carbon copy of anybody.
Authenticity walking, brother.
Authenticity, my sister.
I love you.
I love
Um,
it.
Ed, when you come to South Africa, we are going to Prince Sonwabile and he's going to make you a shirt. I'm going to come check out your kimonos if you still have more. And where can people buy it? Like through like our international viewers wanting to buy your stuff. What's the best way to get it to them?
I've got so many platforms that actually I'm always available on. I am available on Twitter. I'm available on Facebook. I've got my email as well. It's Sonwabile Ndamase Senior, because there's also my junior. There
Okay.
is yes, that is actually on the platform of Instagram. And
Okay.
then on Facebook, it's Sonwabile Ndamase or Vukani Fashions. You will
I'll
find us
put your
there.
links. I'll put your links on the YouTube channel so everybody can actually find you on that.
Correct.
And um, Ed, let me just let you know that this man speaks 6 languages. Besides being talented in fashion, tell us a little bit about that. French, Portuguese. Give us everything about you. Tell the world who you really are.
Sutu, Tswana, Shangan, Venda, you name it,
A lot more.
Xhosa, and I'm very, very, very much versatile with my language because I have so many people that I do work with. So I have to.
Okay.
Wow.
You um
Do you have a
you
favorite piece?
But
Do you have a
I mean,
favorite? Do you have a favorite piece that you always, think of fondly?
do you love something that you've created that's your best, that's your go-to for yourself or anybody else?
um, I'm one person who is not boxed. I don't like to be boxed on something. Anything that I lay in my hands, I believe that that's what God wanted me to do at the time. And I enjoy that. And the reason is that it's because, like I say, I don't want to be boxed so that I can have people following me say, we know he likes this. No,
Mm,
there's no such. I love everything that God has created on earth, and I embrace everything that I do. At the end of the day, I don't want to be left with something. But now people started to coin me by doing the Madiba shirts, they
Mm,
themselves, and I don't mind. I have to multiply. I don't
sure.
even go to an extent of saying, let me go and it is my IP. If people want to do it, they must do it because they have to live. I have to multiply. At the end of the day, people will still remember that this is the man
You created
who
it.
started this particular journey. And therefore, if they want to create me again, even if ever then I'm no more, it's wonderful. That's what's supposed to be.
That's what I've been to his fashion shows, Ed.
mm,
It is mind blowing. It's drama,
Yes, it
it's
is.
style, his energy. It's just beautiful. I just love you. I love what you do. I love the way you represent our country. I love your humility. Sometimes people will go, this girl tells everybody she loves them or whatever. Is she genuine or real? The bottom line is, I am. It's like I don't go around. I say this often on this platform because we only bring people that are genuine. That's
yeah.
it. And are doing things to help and support and make a difference and drive our economy. You are we're not going to go to the you. Is there anything else that you want to land or drop? Because you're full of wisdom. I always love our conversations and your energy. What else do you want to share with the world or want them to remember South Africa or Africa by? It's your platform. Just go for it.
Quite a number of things that, in essence, as a human being, you need to make it a point that you stay on your lane. We are all given different talents,
Mm,
and therefore, there is no way that we would like to duplicate what other people are doing, except to expand the circle so that everybody else could have something to do. For an example, like platforms like these ones, you don't just do it for the sake of wanting to copy someone
Ed,
else.
have we
Do
have a
it,
frozen moment?
yeah.
Ed, are you
you
still
you
there?
yes.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm just listening.
Oh, we
You need
lost you for a minute, Prince. You have to give it to us again. You were going on this journey and we lost you midway. Please repeat yourself.
I am saying there are platforms like these ones that are being created to expose and showcase. If then you do not have passion for what you are doing, please don't copy because you are going to make a mess of the beauty of what the people have started. Life is too short for us to mess around. Let us be who we are and make it a point that we leave a legacy that no one else will ever want, not want to be. Because especially the young ones, must know we have traveled in this road and nothing is new. So therefore, the only thing that they need to do is to become innovative in whatever that they do.
Oh, that was powerful, actually. Thank you. I do have to ask you, my other favorite boyfriend, friend boy. Let's get it out there. What does Ubuntu mean to you?
Ubuntu for me means being humble. Humble being, therefore, if umuntu, you must always know that you are who you are because of other people. Therefore, you are not a man on an island. So if then you see someone or something happen to someone else, don't be the perpetrator of the bad to people. Be the one that saves people when they are finding themselves in wrong places. Save the continent, save Africa, save humanity. And that cannot be destroyed by the same people who call themselves that they are human. Please, that is what Ubuntu to me means. There's nothing new. We, even our government, any other people, are made by us. So it is us that's supposed to save the world, no one else. And that world is me. I make up the world.
Drop the mic.
That was good. That was good.
But he's such a passionate, inspirational, caring human being, besides being talented and creative. What else can you tell me? I'm always in awe when I'm in your company. I learn so much from you. No, seriously, he's got so many stories to share.
What would you like to know? If ever, then I can just only find out from Zule.
What I would want to know is something simple. Um, you were talking about leaving a legacy and things like that. What do you want your legacy to be if you could write it?
Uh, that is a very conservative question that you've come up with.
I knew we were going to have fun today. I just love the energy that's flowing.
I don't know whether I should pull up my political cap to answer that particular question.
No, don't pull out the political part.
The kind of a legacy that I would love to leave behind for the community and for everybody in the world. And it's a legacy that it's around what we were talking about, Ubuntu. If we can, as human beings, start to respect each other, that to me will be the bearing of the best thing for the world to become a better place for us all. Just respect each other. Because one of those respect that I'm putting out there in the universe is the respect of knowing I am who I am through other people. So therefore, I must not, if like what is happening now in the world, if Iran and Iraq and all those particular countries, just because you have what you have, please share, because all of us, we are not here forever. We are here temporarily. And that's what people would love them to remember. We are not permanent. All of us were not permanent. People have lived and left, and I shall live and left as well. So if we could understand that, we will be a better person to each and every person that we meet around us.
Absolutely, that was powerfully
Beautiful.
stated. Thank you. And I have one more question, and then we can wrap up. You know, you've spent, I mean, you were privileged, I mean, to spend as much time as you did with Tata Mandela, and you've been able to learn and engage and dress him so often. How would you feel about the way South Africa currently is? I know this might be a politically triggered question, but what do you think he would say, seeing where we are and at the moment?
I believe because he is a man of peace, a man of forgiving,
Mhm.
I guess in the era of what we found ourselves in, he would have been one of the philosophers that would have said, even this one shall pass. Because one of the things that I believe our country is going through, which we must not forget, we are in pain. Reconciliation was never done proper. People were not counseled proper. People are still having wounds of apartheid. And some other people made it a point that they got away with murder. And for us to lie to each other, I guess he would have seen it now because he cushioned so many things,
Yeah,
as in terms of, and a wound that is not healed proper and opened and cleaned cannot heal with immediate effect. And now
absolutely.
South Africa is wounded, and therefore the wounds that we have, they are with us on a day-to-day basis. As much he would have preached peace and tranquility and spoke to those that are corrupt and corrupted, he would have also came, like he has said, please give back to the poor of the poorest. Don't take much from the poor, because he did it himself by virtue of forming the foundation, the children's fund, and all those kind of entities that he came up with, children's hospital. So therefore, he would have asked and said, even the same politicians that are involved now today, what is it that you are plowing back to the community that you believe you are leading? Now that you find there's a scourge of everything, that people are hungry, and this is a situation that we're living under. So that would be my parting note, that I should believe that as much as he would have humbled himself, but somewhere along the line, a whip is needed now to pull back the country and become a country that has to work, not a country that lives on handouts, because every now and again, people have got what they call, most of the time, entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
Our people have got a lot of an entitlement. They believe that government has to do this, government has to give them this, government has to give them that, and so forth and so forth. This is the time that now our government need not more to dangle carrots in front of the people. People have to work and understand that for them to receive, they have to do something first.
Sure. You said quite a few like critical things. So thank you for actually sharing that point. Yeah. I believe that Tata would be very disappointed in the way our current government is actually leading, and the level of corruption, as well as their attitude is not servant leadership, but self-serving themselves as well as their families. And that's the disappointment, I think. He would be peaceful in his talk, I believe so, but he will, behind closed door, would give them a very, very difficult time. So I'm just picking up on your point. Well, if he's not going to do it, then I think Prince, you and I need to start doing more than that. Because hell, he held our hands. He did tell us to follow through on his work.
There it is.
That was you landed so many great insights, and your share was extremely, extremely beautiful. I mean, I love spending time with you. Ed, do you have any more questions with this amazing royal man?
I have no more question. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for, first of all, affording us some of your time, because you could have been designing something new. For me, my favorite color is red. But
did you see how he dropped it, Prince? Sonwabile, my favorite color is red. So get the fabric, because I'm coming out in 2024 and you'll start making my clothes.
But just, you took your gift and you shared your gift. But one of the things that I love the most, that you just basically said the gift wasn't just for you. And you're taking your gift and you're imparting your gift into others. That is absolutely beautiful. I wish more of our society would impart their gifts into others. One man plants, one man waters, but God gives the increase. So thank you for all that you've been doing.
I'm humbled.
I feel extremely blessed and privileged to be able to spend this time with you, have the gift of friendship. So thank you for all that you do and the impact that you have, not just in our country, but across the globe. Because when you step into other continents, you represent so beautifully, and just so much love and light and so much strength to be able to give back to the youth like the way you currently do. And sure, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And my boyfriend, Zulued, thank you for always holding the space with me.
Thank you.
And having these amazing conversations. One last word, one last quote, one last love before we close out.
Now, only thing that I would be saying is that I will be judging on Miss Earth, the world, Miss Earth, the world.
Oh, fabulous.
So, yes, I'm one of the judges there, and watch my work as well that I've done for the national costume. But anyway, the opportunity, it is there. So I'm trying to say, for one of the reasons that I'm still in this particular industry and these platforms that are still here, if you are a creative person, don't become a prima donna. Know that you're serving the community. You are serving the client. Prima donnership does not help and work for any other person. Whether you are any other kind of an artist, humble yourself before your client, and the client will do likewise unto you.
Wow.
I love you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Go ahead, Charmaine.
Love and light, everybody. Thank you for coming out and listening to us. And this has been an incredible conversation.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. And I will just leave you with this: respect each other, and let's save humanity. Thank you for joining us. Everyone have an amazing day, afternoon, evening, whenever you tune in. Take care, everybody.